Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Bluebird Lacquer. In today's video I am doing the haul from my polish pickup order for February 2024. So as you can see, it was actually kind of a big order for me lately. I got 7 polishes and that month I didn't really get any other items, so we're just going to be taking a look at the polishes, and as you can see I have pulled a few colors to try most of these over. The only one that we're trying just one color over is the Cupcake Polish because that one is more of a crelly base and I wasn't really sure that would work too well over other colors, so I just sort of picked a matchy color for that to go over, but the rest of these we're going to try over a couple of different colors as we swatch them. So let's go ahead and dig in. The first polish that I got is from Bluebird Lacquer. This is Squatty Oddy Oddy Oddy, and it is a magnetic. So first of all, look at all the beautiful colors. This is one of those larger particled polishes, so you get that speckly look. You can see the electric greens and golds around the edges and the magenta and purple in the middle. Let's see it magnetized. Ooh, I instantly saw a little bit more red. Wow, yeah, that purple pulled into that magnetic line, leaving the fuchsia and magenta, that pinker tone, looking more red now that it doesn't have the purple mixing with it. Wow. Okay, so that is utterly gorgeous. And the two polishes that I picked to try this one over, the first one is a China Glaze and it is Traffic Jam. I thought that this would sort of pull out the magenta tones that I was seeing in Squatty Oddy 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 and see how that looks over that color. And then the second color I picked is an Orly Cream, and this one is called Don't Be Suspicious, and it is a chocolate brown. So that was sort of just a gamble of a color. I wanted to see how it would look over a dark brown. So let's go ahead and swatch. All right, so first we're going to see Squatty Oddy Oddy all on its own. Wow, this is actually pretty opaque here in one coat. Let's go ahead and magnetize that first coat all on its own. But there it is in one coat. Glorious color there. You see the sunset colors in the purple cat's eye. I'm seeing pinks and oranges. That is so pretty. All right, let's do one coat over Traffic Jam from China Glaze. And again, with this color, I was trying to pull a little bit more of the fuchsia, sort of match that fuchsia tone or that berry lean that I was seeing. And again, we're just going to hold the magnet over the polish for about 30 seconds. Ooh, that looks really nice. So obviously we're going to add more opacity when we're putting it over a cream. And I think that way you're going to see a little bit more maybe of that fuchsia tone. I don't know, I can't quite tell. We're going to have to do a little bit more comparisons once we get the Bluebird Lacquer opaque on its own, but let's go ahead and try it over Orly's Don't Be Suspicious. Again, that is our chocolatey brown. I'm not sure if there's going to be too much of a difference actually, because this is a pretty opaque polish. It's not acrylic, but you do get a ton of those particles in here. And I think especially on camera, I'm really not seeing much of a difference, but that might come down to in different lights when you're not seeing the polish. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but when you tilt your nails at certain angles and the polish itself, the shimmer polish sort of disappears, you would probably see a lot more of whatever cream color you are wearing underneath it, if that makes sense. But on both of those, you can see that amazing purple magnetic line. So let's go ahead and build up the Bluebird Lacquer all on its own. This will be our second coat. And there we have 2 coats. And actually, you know what? 2 coats seems to be pretty nice and opaque. So I don't know that you would necessarily need to put this over a cream, but there we have 2 different options just in case. Polishes from Polish Pickup are harder to come by since they are limited edition. So if you were trying to save your polish, especially if you have longer nails, this might be a good way to get yourself that opacity that you might be looking for without using up all of your polish. But I do really like how it looks there in 2 coats all on its own. You're building up that beautiful larger particled shimmer. And then once again, we have it over a Traffic Jam from China Glaze and Orly's Don't Be Suspicious. Not the biggest difference on those, but there is Bluebird Lacquer's Squatty Oddy Oddy Oddy. Next up is Cupcake Polish. This is Cool Cats. This is that one that I was saying is a bit more of a crelly finish, so I only picked one color to try this over, but look at this beautiful flaky bomb. This is a really pretty pinky purple, and it is jam-packed full of these shards and flakies. There's some iridescent flakies that are more like a mylar type finish that aren't completely translucent. They're going to bounce back a lot of color. And then you have metallic ones in purple, teal, I think pink, like a deep fuchsia pink right there. So there are a lot of different colors in this one. And the one polish that I chose to put this one over is from Orly, and this one is Kaleidoscope Eyes. So here is Cool Cats all on its own. And yeah, this one I really don't think would be benefited much by putting it over a color because it is so opaque all on its own because it is that crelly base. There it is in just one coat. Again, love the mix of colors in this. It is so pretty, very confetti cake-like. And then let's see it over one coat of Kaleidoscope Eyes. Again, I was basically just trying to match the base color and help give us a boost in opacity. But especially with crellies, I do feel like you really benefit from having them layered up over themselves because you're not going to get as much of that pond effect with the flakies layered up through that crelly base. But there it is in one coat. I think it does sort of amp up the pink factor, that pinky lilac shade of the base, putting it over Kaleidoscope Eyes. Again, obviously you are going to boost the opacity, just a pinch in this case, because as you can see in one coat, Cool Cats is pretty opaque all on its own. Not a one coater for sure, but more opaque than the other colors that we're swatching today. And then let's go ahead and see a second coat layered up. Wow, got a big purple flake there at the end. And yeah, there we have two coats versus one coat over Kaleidoscope Eyes. They are, I won't say identical in the base color. There's definitely a subtle difference. I think you can maybe see that on camera. The one coat over Kaleidoscope Eyes is a little bit brighter, whereas when it's layered up over itself, I won't say it goes dusty necessarily, but it does have that milky texture to it because now you're seeing that second coat layered up over some of the flakies from that first coat. So you're getting a different look, but there it is in one coat over Kaleidoscope Eyes versus two coats all on its own. But there we have Cupcake Polish's Cool Cats. Next up is one from Cuticula, and this one is called Rainbow Roar. And this is another beautiful flaky polish, this time in a darkened purple base. You have a bunch of these rainbow flakes, so you're seeing all the different colors from greens, yellows, purples, pinks, golds, oranges. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I did pick two colors to try this one over. The first one I sort of tried to match the base color. This one is Orly's Feeling Foxy. And then the second one I decided to try was a lot lighter. It's another Orly, and this one is Provence at Dusk. So here it is in one coat, all on its own. Yeah, all on its own. You can definitely see that purple, like very deep, plummy purple base. And as you can see in one coat, you do still see through this, it is more of a jelly leaning crelly. It's still got that creaminess, but it's definitely not as opaque as that cupcake was. So there it is in one coat all on its own. Let's go ahead and see how it looks over Feeling Foxy. Ooh. Yeah, that I feel is a pretty good match underneath this. You're going to get that boost in opacity instantaneously, and all of those flakes are going to show up quite nicely against that color. And then let's see how it looks over Provence at Dusk. Again, this is going to have that tinted purple base, so we are going to change that lavender, but I'm curious how it's going to look. I think I may have overdone playing with it down there at the base of the nail, so it's a little bit patchy there. But as you can see, you do get a lighter purple by putting it over a lighter shade of purple. Of course, that color is still going to come into play that's already in the base color, but it does show that you can play around with the different bases that you wear this over if you choose to do it that way. Let's go ahead and build up a second coat of Rainbow Roar. So there's 2 coats all on its own versus 1 coat over Orly's Feeling Foxy and 1 coat over Orly's Provence at Dusk. I feel like the base color is actually a little bit closer to how we got it to look over Provence at Dusk. So that's actually interesting because in the bottle it was very, very dark. But yeah, I like all 3. I mean, they're not that far off from each other. Not as far off as some of the other comparisons that we have done. But yeah, very, very pretty. And for this one, I do feel like I need to do a 3rd coat. Just a light 3rd coat there. Now we're a little bit closer to how it looked over Feeling Foxy. So obviously, again, when you're layering the flakies up over themselves, you are going to get that different look versus 1 coat on its own over a cream color. So that was Cuticula's Rainbow Roar. Next up is the Garden Path Lacquer, and this is Qupi. And this one is a stunning color. This is a beautiful purple base. There's a beautiful shifting shimmer that goes from green to blue, and it has micro glitter. Those are a fuchsia hollow. This is one of the types of formulas from this maker that I utterly adore. I also really like it when she adds flakies to this same kind of formula, where you have a shimmer and a slight base color and a micro glitter that adds more color. It's just so complex and it just dazzles my eye. It makes me happy. So this was definitely one that I had to snatch up, and look at all the colors that you're seeing. You're seeing a little bit more of that vibrant green and blue at the edges, slightly different shade of purple at the corners of the bottle as well. And for this one, I did decide to try it over 2 different shades of purple. The first one is one of the same polishes that we tried the Cuticula over. It is Orly's Provence at Dusk. And then the second one is going darker, but a brighter shade than Feeling Foxy was for that Cuticula. And this one is called Synthetic Symphony. So here's 1 coat of Qupi all on its own. Yeah, I just love the speckled look that those micro glitters make. That is so pretty. I think I've mentioned it before. She could come out with an entire collection in this range of finishes, whether with or without flakies. But again, the shimmer with that micro glitter, and I would be so happy. Love, love, love that finish. All right, let's try it over Provence at Dusk. Again, this one is sort of trying to match that lighter purple base that I was seeing in that bottle. And yeah, I like that layering. Look at that. So that gives us instantly that beautiful lilac shade behind it. It's a little bit darker once the Garden Path Lacquer is layered over it. And then let's go ahead and try it over Synthetic Symphony. And on this one, as I figured, we're mostly going to see the beautiful shimmer in this because the base is lighter than that dark purple. But look at that. Wow, a completely different look and an utterly gorgeous one at that. Holy moly. So that shimmer just bounces right off of that darker purple base. The speckled look from the glitter isn't quite as noticeable, but I do see it at certain angles. There's these little pink speckles. Wow, yeah, that is so pretty. All right, let's go ahead and do a second coat of Qupi on its own. We're going to layer up the shimmer and the base color and those glitters. So there's 2 coats. And that one I think is a nice 2-coater. I think most people would be just fine with 2 coats on that. I mean, I think if you hold it up to really strong backlight, light will still get through, but that is because it is getting most of the opacity from that shimmer particle. But I don't know, I'm wearing a somewhat sheer polish right now on this hand. This is Mooncat's Portrait of an Introvert, and I only did it in 2 coats. And I mean, when you look at it in certain lights, again, you can definitely see some patches, but at the same time, this is how I'm mostly going to look at my hands. So to me, it doesn't really bother me, but yeah, I think most people for this one would be just fine with 2 coats, but I'm loving it over the other colors as well. We're getting different shades of purple on all 3. So in the original, it is kind of this softer background shade. When we put it over Provence at Dusk, that purple sort of comes more to the forefront. And then obviously over Synthetic Symphony, it is a completely different shade of a brighter blue leaning purple once the Garden Path lacquer is layered over it. All 3 are stunning. So that was Garden Path Lacquer's Qupi. Next up is one from Glisten and Glow, and this is a violet-backed Starling. And you guys, we have another purple and another flaky bomb full of iridescent flakies. And I want to say there's at least a couple of different kinds of shifts that go on in this. You can see some blue, purple, fuchsia. There's some warmer shades there at the edges of the bottle, even pops of green at certain angles. All in this very beautiful, rich purple base. So for this one, I did choose 2 colors again to try this over. The first one is sort of trying to match that dark, deep, rich purple. And this one is another Orly. This is On the Edge. And just to compare it to Synthetic Symphony, it is a few shades darker. And actually, once it's swatched, it has a lot more blue in it. And then the second color that I picked is another Orly. This is Don't Pop My Balloon. This is actually a light pearl finish or a shimmer polish, and as you can see, there is a little bit of shifts in it, but I thought that would be an interesting one to just see how this looks over. So here's 1 coat of violet backed Starling all on its own, and this one definitely has a squishy purple base. Look at the glow of those flakies, so pretty. I love that I'm kind of seeing more of those purple ones, different shades of purple, so the bluer leaning purple as well as the fuchsia or magenta. That is gorgeous. All right, let's go ahead and try it over On the Edge. I feel like this is sort of matching the base color that I was seeing in the bottle. Wow. Yeah, that is gorgeous. You get that amazing glowy look just as it was in the bottle in a dark base. Wow, yeah, that I really like that. I mean, I know I'm gonna like it on its own as well, but I like it over that darker color. All right, let's try it over that lighter shade and see if there's a difference. Again, this has that squishy purple factor to it, so it isn't gonna show all of that pink coming through, and I just wanted to see what this would do. Again, that's the whole reason why I do the layering portion of this, is I like to see how it looks over different shades. It's just, we're here to play around with it. There's no wrong answers. But yeah, that's how it looks in 1 coat over Don't Pop My Balloon. That gives it more of a fuchsia lean in the base. The other Orly gave it more of a dark midnight blue with that pinch of a purple lean to it. Very pretty. And then here is a second coat. Let's see about building up that base color and those flakies all on its own. All right, so there is 2 coats. Interesting. So we're actually getting 3 completely different shades of purple here again. So on its own in those 2 coats, mind you, some people would probably need a third because it is that jelly base. But for that one, we're getting more of a mid-toned royal purple. Then obviously over On the Edge, it's that deeper midnight bluish purple. And then over Don't Pop My Balloon, it is a little bit closer to the Glisten and Glow built up in 2 coats, but it is different. It's got that pinch more of a pink lean. And I think there you can see it a little bit better than when I'm holding it up against my hand. See the difference? It's more deep on its own. It's got that pinch more of a vibrant pink lean when it's layered up over that Orly. So again, I think all 3 look beautiful. This one, I feel like we're getting a little bit more difference than a few of the other ones that we tried. because this one is that jelly finish, you definitely can play around with it over a lot of different colors. You could even play around with it over some oranges or reds. And basically what I try to think about when I'm doing that is what particle you're going to see when it is layered up over a different color. And in this case, it would be those flakies. So what color do you want to see those purples and fuchsias bouncing off of? Could look interesting against different shades of blue, although that is sort of in the same color family, so it might not pop as nicely. Or again, over reds, you would definitely see a lot more of that blue or purple tone. And as we've seen in other combinations, that looks incredible. So yeah, I think this one is going to be pretty versatile over a few different shades, but love it on its own as well. So that was Glisten and Glow's Violet Backed Starling. Next up is Night Owl Lacquer. This is Great Gray Owl. And look at the different colors you're going to get here in this polish. You get blues, purples, fuchsias, golds, and oranges. Beautiful shifts in this. This is all in a silver hollow base. And look at the glow of those flakies. Holy moly. You're getting that blaze of a blue flash. I will say in person, it's not that intensely blue, but it is there. It is a beautiful wash of a glow. You get some pinks and reds at the edges. That gold is brilliant. There's some pink and orange. This is another one that really caught my attention for that month. And I have been completely failing to mention if any of these are regrets or not. And no, they aren't. All of these are simply stunning. I'm definitely happy to be able to add all of these to my collection. As I said in a couple of other videos, I do feel like I'm getting a little bit better in tuned with what I am likely to wear. So with this one, we're going to swatch it over a couple of different colors as well. For this one, I chose a mid-tone blue cream from Orly called Blue Tango. And then I thought it would be interesting to try it over a red to see those beautiful blue flakies just pop off of it. And this red is Love My Nails, again from Orly. So for this one, I didn't go for trying to match it at all. Let's go ahead and see it in one coat all on its own. And there is why. In one coat, it is pretty sheer all on its own. You get that wash of the silver hollow and of those flakes, but you're not really getting an opaque base color. So I mean, you could obviously try it over a silver or a gray, any shade of gray that you want, but I decided it would be funner to try it over different shades. I am sort of regretting the blue choice because I feel like the blue flakies aren't really going to show up. However, as you saw, there are other shifts, so that should give us very different looks over blue and red. So let's go ahead and try it over Orly's Blue Tango. I think you're going to see the hollow quite nicely. So far, I'm not seeing any of the darker shades, like those warmer tones come. Aha, okay. At certain angles you will. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but at certain angles, I'm definitely seeing those warmer shades. The purples and the pinks pop up against that dark blue. Again, over that blue, the hollow is very prominent as well. And then let's go ahead and try it over Love My Nails, that red. I feel like I'm not getting enough polish on my brush. There we go. And now on this one, I am hoping for those blue flakes to really pop. Of course, with that silver base hollow, now you can see what it does to those colors. It does provide this sort of a speckly hollow look over it, but you can definitely see the blue flakes a lot more over that bright red. That is another really fun combo. Yeah, I think of those two, I really prefer it over the red, but again, you are sort of dusting it out, so just keep that in mind if you wanted to try layering this yourself. Anything that you put this over is going to have that wash, just like you can see here in one coat, but it is absolutely gorgeous over that red. And then let's build it up on its own in a second coat. And I will say the base does have something going on because it isn't completely sheer. I mean, as you can see, some people would probably need a third coat for full opacity, but I mean, it is not a super duper sheer polish there. So that is 2 coats on its own versus 1 coat over Orly's Blue Tango and 1 coat over Love My Nails. And there just to show how opaque it is in 2 coats. Again, with my backlighting, it always is going to make it look a little bit more sheer than it would on your nails. But look at that glow of those flakies. So, so pretty. So that was Night Owl Lacquer's Great Grey Owl. And then last but not least, I picked up Wildflower Lacquer's Cat Bear. This is one of those colors that really caught my eye. Oranges in general, I feel like I really fell head over heels for a few years ago, probably in 2019. And since then, I've discovered that I absolutely adore them with pink mixed in. There's something about it that just really is eye appealing. It just catches my attention. And this one is a gorgeous orange that has a larger particled pink shifting shimmer. You can see some oranges in here towards the edges of the bottle, as well as golds. There's that fuchsia front, a pinch of red. There's a lot of different colors in here, and the swatches of this were stunning. So for this one, I also picked 2 shades to try this over. I thought it would be interesting to see if we could deepen it up by putting it over a darker red. So this is Orly's Persistent Memory. And then the other one that I tried is from OPI. This is a lighter shade of a pastel neon orange, and this one is called Flex on the Beach. So here's 1 coat of Cat Bear all on its own. Again, beautiful shifts. I love the mix of colors. That rusty orange base with those pinks and fuchsias. Such a stunning combination. And then let's see it over Persistent Memory. Woohoo! Wow, so the darker shade of pink really pops over this dark color. Wow. Oh my, and you can see some purple there at the edges as well. Whew. Obviously a completely different look. Very, very pretty. And then let's try it over Flex on the Beach from OPI. Ooh. So our base color is going to sort of tone it down, less of a neon, but you are still going to get that brighter tone, obviously, than over the dark color of Persistent Memory. 2 very different looks there. I like both. And then let's build up a 2nd coat of Cat Bear. I just cannot get over the mix of colors in this. It just makes my eyes dance. Love that. So that is definitely closer to the 1 coat of Cat Bear over the OPI, that bleached neon orange. We got such a different look with it over Persistent Memory from Orly. We're going to do a 3rd coat and see how opaque and how dark of a color we can get all on its own. Yeah, this is definitely going to have to come out on my fall rack. This is gorgeous. So there's 3 coats. And yeah, now you can see, hopefully on camera as well, a pretty big difference between 1 coat over that OPI versus 3 coats built up on its own. That shimmer creates magic when it's layered up over itself. It is very pretty over that OPI as well, but now that it's layered in 3 coats, you can tell a pretty big difference. That shift really glows in 3 coats on its own. I'm getting more colors on its own. Wow. Very pretty though. Very happy I picked that one up. Again, we're closing it out strong. Another not a regret from my polish pickup order for February 2024. That was Wildflower Lacquer's Cat Bear. So there we have it. That was my order from Polish Pickup for February. Let me know which ones were your favorites down below, or which were your favorite combinations. This has been fun as always. I really enjoy seeing the different colors over other polishes. We did see a few that really didn't have too much in the way of change. But yeah, let me know which combination was your favorite. Are you going to try any of these or play around with any on your own if you ordered the same polishes? But yeah, that one, whew! That one over that red, that one might have to be one of my favorite combinations, but I think of the polishes, I don't know. Actually, I was going to say I was going to pick Wildflower Lacquer as my favorite all on its own. However, coming back to the Glisten and Glow, I don't know, that is up there on my favorites too, especially over on the edge. That combination is so gorgeous. But yeah, let me know which is your favorites. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and looking at beautiful polish. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you're new, think about hitting that little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. And I will see you in that next one.